Tonight, I wanted to meditate on the eternal liberation of the present moment. And if that sounds enticing for you, I'd love for you to stay here as we spend the next few minutes contemplating together on this subject. We can all start by breathing. Breath is our tether to the present moment. If you're not breathing, how can you be present? If we're holding our breath, it's probably because we anticipate something. Or if we forget to breathe, it's probably because we were caught up in the past. But if you're consciously breathing, you must be here and now, because the breath cannot exist elsewhere. Breathe with your tummy, filling that up before your chest, letting that sense of expansion fill your whole being. And when you exhale, just let it release like a balloon naturally deflates without having to put any pressure on it. As you keep breathing, I want to tell you a story you may have heard before. A story about a clockmaker who was so skilled in his craft that you could say he breathed life into every creation. One day, the clockmaker was finishing up his latest creation. He was putting in the final cog in the clockwork. When that final cog slid onto the axis, you could hear an audible sigh. But it wasn't from the clockmaker. It was from the clock. The clockmaker said, "Mr. Clock, did I just hear a sigh come from you?" To his surprise, the clock replied. He said, "Yes. I was just thinking, you have made me so exceptionally well that I will probably tick-tock forever." "Well, that doesn't sound like a bad thing at all," the clockmaker replied. "It is precisely my intention to have you to be around for a long while." Clock said, "Yes, but thinking about how many tick-tocks I'll have to do from now until forever, I can't help but already feel exhausted." Then the clockmaker understood. "I see your problem, Mr. Clock. You are blessed with having work to do from now until forever. You can already anticipate just how much energy that will take. But remember, I have made you to keep track of only the present time, you will indeed keep track of the time 5 seconds from now, 5 hours from now, 5 years from now, but you only ever have to keep track of this moment. You only ever have one tick, one talk to do. When the clock heard that, it began to make sense, and he realized that it's true. His purpose as a clock is not to keep track of time tomorrow, or the next week, or the next month, but only to be present. So too, our breath is just like the tick, the tock of the inhale and the exhale. If you are ever stressing out about anything that you anticipate, remember that all you have to do is get to the next inhale, the next exhale, because that's all that exists for you. Notice that when the mind is centered on something that truly exists here and now, that it's not in a state of worry naturally. When we are feeling restrained or limited, it is almost always because our mind is situated on something taking place outside of here and now. In our memory of the past, or our imagination of the future, or in the awareness of something that is perhaps taking place outside of our current walls and environment. But just like the clockmaker had only designed the clock to keep track of whatever the current moment was, you are designed to only need to attend to what is directly before you now. This moment will certainly change, just as the clock will keep track of the change of time as well. But all you ever have to do is attend to what is within this moment exactly. In the eternal moment, you find liberation. Your freedom is found by bringing your attention to what exists presently. If you have trust in the idea that you are only meant to attend to what is within your experience now, then you never have to worry for a single second about any other time. You know that whatever comes, you are meant to experience just that in that moment. And whenever something goes, you trust that you are meant to experience something new. If you can open into that space of the present moment, where you realize you are, have been, and will always be free, that no matter the challenge that faces you, everything you need in order to attend to that challenge is also here. If nothing can exist for you outside of this moment, then nothing you need exists outside of this moment either. That all of the problems in this moment also have their solutions in this moment. So, just as it is true that there is always some aspect of this moment which can be solved, you are never separate from the solutions either. Everything that needs to change is also here. All the tools that you need to make that change happen are also here. And the stage of that change which you need to be in is also here. Life is not something to conclude, nothing to be done with, to finish up, to come to some permanent resolution with. Life is an eternal process of becoming. It matters not what we become, it matters what we are becoming. And the difference is, on one hand, we're result-oriented, thinking about ourselves as something that must be in a future time. And on the other hand, we are present, grounded in the fact that everything is a happening. Everything we need to be, we are becoming now. The process unfolds gradually, this moment unfolding naturally. It is not about what unfolds, it's about the unfolding. Not about what you learn, but about the learning. Not about what stage of growth you reach, but about the growing. Not about a place of being healed, but being a part of the healing. Everything you need to be, you are already now, and what you are now is changing. Worry not about becoming best. Worry not about being best. You are already becoming better, and you do so more and more effortlessly as you allow yourself to be where you are now. There are many situations in your life that may be challenging, and we all can relate in that. But you don't have to literally be free from the challenge to be liberated from the suffering we associate with being stuck now. For true acceptance of the present moment does not necessarily entail stagnance, but rather a kind of stillness from which you can go. The path does not end in acceptance, it begins from there. As the journey ahead of you must accommodate where you are now, and if you can't agree with where you are now, then where is your next step going to land? If you want to break free, we must start where we are now, and it is the perfect place to begin. All things worth pursuing take their origin in the here and now. everything that deserves to be done begins here. Therefore, being here is precisely where you need to be in order for all those good things to manifest. This present moment is like a canvas, and you cannot create a painting without something beneath it. This present moment is like silence. You cannot sing if there is not silence to sing through. This present moment is like the stage. You cannot dance if there's nothing to dance upon. Though it is ultimately the dance, the song, the painting that is to be admired, there would be nothing to admire without the foundation beneath. And that is the purpose of this present moment, as the eternal source for all that has to be painted, sung, danced as, for, and to. It all flows from here, in their source, in their origin, the Creator,